What's up, you guys? Shelly the Forex TradeHER here. Happy on the her in this very much so male-dominant industry. I haven't made a video in a few days, so I'm excited to be on here. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be covering how to identify continuous trends in the market. The reason I'm making this video, you guys, is because I actually saw a tweet on Twitter yesterday from another person's page, and they were saying that basically someone tried to tell them that a specific market was bullish when it was very much so bearish. So I thought it was the perfect topic to cover today, not to mention it was already on my list anyways for videos to make. So yeah, I'm going to switch my screen and we're going to get right into it. And if you are interested in this topic, keep watching and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new here. So here is, I just cleared this chart out. It was marked up, but I wanted to really show you guys how to identify continuous trends. The pair that the person was talking about was actually Euro USD, but I'm going to show you on the pairs that I trade because I don't trade Euro USD. And the way I'm going to show you, you can apply it to any pair. So it doesn't really matter. So here is NZD/USD, you guys, and this is going to be a quick video, so stay tuned. But here is NZD/USD, you guys. We are on the day chart. Keep in mind, and this is going to be for my note takers, because you know note takers are money makers. So what I will put is identifying a continuous trend. And then what we're going to put is first step. Whenever you're identifying an overall trend, you always want to be on the higher time frame, whether that is the weekly or the day chart. Whatever is happening on those time frames is going to happen on your lower time frames. This is why I always tell people to start with the higher time frames, especially if you're a beginner, because whatever's happening on those time frames is going to happen on the smaller time frames. So it makes things that much clearer for you to figure out what exactly you are looking at. So overall trend, daily, weekly trend, or I should say long-term trend, weekly. So these two things alone is all you need to identify a continuous trend. So I'm going to leave that there for you guys. Two small things, very simple. Now, like I said, we're on the day chart right now, and I'm going to show you the weekly chart as well for this approach. But whenever you are looking for an overall trend or a continuous trend, you want to take into consideration whatever is happening on the day chart is going to be, you know, your overall trend for that day. So like for NZD/USD, you guys, if we notice, this thing has literally been going down since last year. And this is long term. Yes, you could have caught some buys in between, but it is always profitable and more profitable and just overall smarter to go with whatever the overall trend is. I always tell people, don't try to catch retracements unless you are experienced. If you are not experienced, just go with the overall trend. So let me minimize this. So if I pull out my highlighter tool and I just go back to this point, we can see that price did not go, and let me pull this down just a touch. Oopsie. We can see that price didn't break this specific level of price. So what this means is price was staying below a certain area. And from that point on, it just continued to sell. It's very important to make note of these things because it'll make it that much easier for you to understand what is taking place in the market. If I were to put a zone here, and I will put it right here because this is where my trigger candles are forming, This lets me know that price is staying below this level, so it's probably going down. So the overall trend, the continuous trend, is a sell. Now, if you wanted to even go a step further with trend lines, you could just draw your trend line following from that point down, and then you'll see that your arrow is going down, your line is going down, price is going down. So that means that in today's market, you need to be looking for sales. Now, yes, this is from 2021. And, I started there because I wanted you to see that, that's where the sales started before, the buy concluded. But overall, if we go into today's market and we were to go even more precise with our trend line, you could even put, I'm going to put a zone here. Again, I put it here because this is where another trigger candle formed. So now we're in this year's market, 2022, and this is actually from April. Now we can draw another trend line from this point on. So now you can even see that in today's market, you would still be looking for sales. Now, how do you know if a trend is going to keep going? Because if we look right here, it kind of looks like, it tested this level once and then it tested it twice. And now, it's here again. So me personally, what I do is I go to the weekly, which is why I say long-term trends. You want to go on the weekly. And I'm going to delete this. You guys, make sure you just pause it to get your notes. It was very small. But now we're on the weekly, and whatever's happening on the weekly is going to let you know whether your trend is going to continue or not. So just to clean this up so there's no confusion, I am going to delete some of these yellow dots just to clean this up a bit. And then I'm going to show you how to go about seeing where price is going to head to for today's market purposes, or just for the rest of this week, I should say. Because the weekly time frame is going to let you see, what to expect for the week. So now, excuse me. Sorry, guys. I had a belch. Sorry. Anywho, so now we're on the weekly time frame. We have these zones marked, and now I'm going to put another zone in. You want to make sure you stay relevant to current price, but you also want to keep in mind that whatever's happened back here, it can likely happen again. Now, as I was saying, and this is just from going on a day chart, we noticed that price tested this level a couple times. If we go back here, you'll also see that price has a potential chance of reversing here as well. So I'm going to put my zone here because this zone is relevant to where price is currently at. Now, if you wanted to know if price is going to break this zone, keep in mind that we're on the weekly time frame and these candles do take a week to close. So because it's Wednesday, it only has 2 days and a couple hours left for that candle to close. What I would say is you could either wait for that candle to close so you can see what the next candle does, because then that'll let you know if this is going to in fact push down more, or is it going to have a potential chance of reversing, and then it might bounce back down, because I do believe NZUSD is going to continue to sell. So this is where the patience comes in, but there are ways to go about that quicker versus waiting this entire 2 days. So since price is at this zone and we know it has a potential chance of breaking it, I am going to go ahead and put another zone in, because you always want to know where price is going to head to. So this will be the next potential area where price could head to from this zone. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the day chart. And this is how you can make your waiting time a little faster than 2 days, because we want to at least catch maybe one more trade. It's over. I like to conclude my trading days by Thursday. So if I wanted to catch this potential trade, what I would do is, in order to see if this is going to continue past this zone, we know that the day chart candle takes 24 hours to close. So because the day is already ongoing, this candle only has 6 hours and 45 minutes before it closes, which means this candle is probably going to close at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Excuse this alert. This candle is going to close at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And depending on how this candle closes, that'll let you know if it is in fact going to continue to sell. Also keep in mind, you guys, you want to also use your continuation patterns and your chart patterns. So right now we have this trend line going down. My next thing would be to put a level here or a line here, whatever you want to call it. And the reason I'm doing that is because I guess we could keep this purple. I'm so picky with my colors, y'all. But anyways, now we can look at this and we can say, hey, this is a descending triangle pattern. And you know, descending triangle patterns let you know that a sale can take place. So personally, if I wanted to know if this was going to continue and if this pattern is what I think it is, I would allow this candle to close fully. And then once I get a break of the zone, I would then look for some sort of retest if possible. If I don't get a retest and it's still an appropriate entry, then, you know, I will go ahead and take that trade as long as I do believe it's going to continue to sell. And then normally, of course, I set my risk reward ratio for 1 to 2. So, and when I say I will get my entry as long as, you know, it's not too late type thing, what that means is I do not take entries too far into my zone. And the reason is I don't believe in getting late entries because I trade literally zone to zone. So I try to get my entries as close as possible to where my trigger candles form. So the latest I will get my entry for this trade would be like right about here. So if this candle was to push down with no retest, then, you know, I probably would get my entry as far as right here. And then from that point, I would adjust this to this zone, which would make this RR a little less than what I would shoot for. But that's just because my entry wasn't right at, you know, my zone. And if I wanted to make this, you know, exactly 2%, as long as the stop loss isn't too tight and, you know, depending on what trigger candles form, then I might adjust this down a bit according to, you know, whatever candles are formed here. And if we look into it a step deeper, I do see that there's an evening star candle here. So I can set my stop loss according to that. And then, you know, I should be good to go. So this is how you go about finding, you know, your overall trend and seeing if it's going to continue on. You always want to look and see, you know, what candles are forming here. And, you know, of course, back test and see what's happened at this level before in the past. Because we know that even though this could be a potential demand zone, if the overall trend is down, then this demand zone can easily turn into a supply zone. So go by what you see, go by what candles form, let your candles fully form, and, you know, go from there, you guys. If there's any questions, leave them in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in my next video, you guys. I know this was very quick and brief, but it was a very easy topic. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.